Well, I don't know what happened. Damn. Had a good amount of viewers, too. That sucks. Well, what's good? Okay, we're back. I don't know what happened. It just cut off. Yeah, the stream did die. I don't know what happened. It just cut off. Dang it, I had so much to say about this Afrojack thing. Well, I appreciate you tuning back in. I got like 1 or 2 more articles. I guess I'll redo the Afrojack one. Let me shut my door. Gotta get that long cord, super long. Well, crap. We had a good little run there. Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened. I was hooked up on like an Ethernet cord right here, but my Wi-Fi was still on. I really couldn't tell you what happened there. But yeah, I just saw it go from like 10 viewers down to 1. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep talking. And yeah, then thank you, Chris, for texting me. Okay. Oop, got it. Okay. Okay, wait. Real quick. What was the last thing y'all heard? Chris was saying that as soon as I went to the Afrojack thing, it cut off. But let me know. What was the last thing y'all heard? Did y'all hear anything on this? You started Afrojack. Okay. So it must have cut off. Same. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to keep rocking here. You were laggy during the AT Aliens Outcast article. As soon as you moved to Afrojack, the stream ended. That's so weird. That is so weird. I hate that. It's really annoying. Damn it, Streamlabs. Why are you so great, but so finicky? I have a feeling. Yeah, people might trickle back in. Yeah, we'll see. And if anything, I use most of this to clip into internet content. Anyways, let's get the follow. Watch this camera. It like turns itself. Like follows me. It's kind of creepy, especially like when I'm walking around. It's like will follow me. I'm like trying to duck my NSA guy, but it follows me. Follows me around. I was streaming last week, and I had a sound panel. Wait, hold on. Let me get it real quick. I have one of these, right? and I'm like talking, and you can hear it in the background, or you see it in the background. It's just like dunk, dunk, and it just falls down while I'm talking. I'm like, oh. Okay, Afrojack for us too, and then it crashed. We back though. Shout out for Megan, Lysurgics, Chris, Sirenic, tuning back in. Thank y'all. I guess re-like this stream so we can kind of get people to funnel back in. Really appreciate y'all working with the technical difficulties here. Okay, all right. People are coming back in. Okay, this is great. We'll always follow you for your streams. Exactly. I mean, it's a badass camera. It's legit. It's the OBS bot Tiny 2. is what this camera is, and it like I can like stand up and like woo. But like when I do my studio streams, I'm gonna end up coming over this way, and I want it to be able to follow me and stuff. So it's a badass camera. It is a badass camera. Okay, well, I guess I will come back with the Afrojack article here. And it's still weird you can't see my mouse. I gotta figure that out. But Afrojack says it was disappointing that Fred again used splice samples on 10, which was the single from his new album. And kind of going back to the conversation of using samples, right? It's going to happen, right? And I guess when I was talking to nobody there before I realized the stream crashed, I was talking about if you go and listen to Illenium, which is like the most streamed, the biggest EDM artist out there right now, he used a Virtual Riot sample, almost unchanged. It wasn't so much a drag and drop. He did a little bit of rearrangement there, but there's the dubstep part of Shivering, where it does the digging, 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 digging. That's literally almost drag and drop a Virtual Riot splice sample. If it works, it works, exactly. And this is the thing, is that when Illenium sold out the Las Vegas football stadium or whatever 3 nights in a row, do you think the 90,000 people every night of that show were like, that's a splice sample? No. Only people probably in this stream or, on this side of the industry are probably like whatever. But it's like, those people don't pay his rent. Those people don't get him to 1 billion streams. They just don't. Right. So the whole thing is that the general consumer does not give a shit. They don't care. And it's not a bad thing. Right. But I think when you're as talented as those guys are, yeah, Lysergic says, now I'm the one guy in the crowd. JK. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like 50-50, right? It's like, as a producer, it's like, well, if it works, it works, right? Like, kind of like Cyranic was saying. He says, only producers who know are able to call it out. 99.99999% of the audience won't care or even know, right? And also, this is kind of, I'm going to throw a little bit of shade here, but it's like, Afrojack, what are you up to these days that's like better? Oh man. But it's like, it's just Afrojack, it's not like Skrillex is calling him out or Virtual Riot, because they would, it's disappointing or whatever, but I feel like, look at these glasses, right? This says everything you need to know. Dang it, you can't see my mouse. I'm circling his glasses. Right? And it's just, we want to make music that makes people connected with you. And if someone has made a sample that fits in your song, like, and what he's saying in this article, I really don't want to go and read through it again, but I want to do one other thing. They talk about the that Espresso song by Sabrina Carpenter. Is that thinking about me, thinking about first time I heard that song, I was like, this is a bop. It's a bop. It's so good, right? The bass line, the drum, right? And so I didn't know this. It says, another well-known example of a track made using splice samples is Sabrina Carpenter's massive hit Espresso. The track was made using a sample pack from Oliver's Power Tools sample pack, Volume 3. Cyranic says, Afrojack's still living off the 2012 hype. I mean, if you're, if you make a bop, you make a hit that you're able to just coast on for a decade, 2 decades, more power to you, because that's what we're all trying to do. And granted, he probably made every sound in a song, like, you know, I don't want to say old school producer because it's really not, but just probably didn't use too many samples outside of drum samples, right? And maybe effects and things like that. But he says, if you click the link above and preview, so I'm not going to play this song because I don't want the copyright algorithm to demote the video. But if you've heard this song, he says to MC Hammer time. Yeah, exactly. Except he blew all that money. But it says, if you click the link above, which is the Sabrina Carpenter Espresso song, I went and copied that. Oh, wait, maybe it's still pulled up in the Apple Music. Yeah. Okay, so if you've heard that song, listen to this. I'm probably going to get copyright struck off of the Splice sample right here. Oh, dang it. The volume's down. Here we go. That's just a loop in the Oliver pack. Now, it's a good sample, right? You've got the guitar. You've got kind of like the pad in the background. It's good, right? Like there's multiple things going on. There's like a little ARP in there somewhere, right? But what he says, he's like, when I saw that, I was like, so a guy took a beat that you produced and then looped it and played bass on it. Now it's publishing his intellectual copyright. But again, like the whole thing with sample packs is that it's kind of copyright free for the most part. Like if they're for sale, they're on Splice, that you can read their terms of service or whatever. Like you're allowed to sign songs to labels with Splice samples. Some labels will avoid it. I typically don't just take a loop, put it on a song and like make a beat over it. But there are some samples that are drag and drop worthy on Splice if you use it. So it says here, while it's true that selecting samples as key elements of a track does cut corners in terms of composition, there's still a degree of creativity required in piecing random samples together and filling in the gaps with your own elements too. Espresso, for example, while heavily reliant on samples, features a totally original bass line, which is undeniably one of the key groove makers of the song. Which is like when the bass line hits in that song, it's very groovy, and the drums are processed really well. It's just a really good song, honestly. And I heard it like we were driving, came on the radio or something, and I'm like, what is this? This is good. Right? And I didn't even know I have this Oliver pack, right? And I couldn't point out that sample, right? But it was my buddy Trace Siam that pointed out the shivering Illenium using the virtual Riot thing. So, and again, this topic is, I think, forever going to be debated in the music production community, especially in EDM. But me personally, I'm going to take it seriously when it comes from someone who hasn't just like, who's like consistently like putting things out, or like, again, it kind of pushes the boundaries of music production a little more than Afrojack. Granted, like he makes some bops, he makes some good hits. It's like, but they're just in two different fields. So, I don't know. And it's like, be a little more prevalent on the music production side, Afrojack. I feel like your argument could stand up a little more. But again, I don't like dive into Afrojack's career. I'm not like a huge fan of his music, but the music that I have heard from him is very like silent, massive, those kind of thing. It almost sounds like presets. But it may not be. And again, I'm not here to like trash Afrojack or anything, but I do think the argument doesn't stand as tall coming from Afrojack. Just me. Okay, so I'm really bummed that the stream like died out, but it is what it is. So yeah. Oh yeah. Hit that like button, please. I really appreciate everyone tuning in here. I've got 2 more articles. I might not even do the other one's about Instagram and Spotify, and it's a really short article. There's not much to it, but this other one, excuse me, here. Man, my face is in the way again. Oh, it's because I zoomed in. That's right. Shoop. Shoop. Come on. There we go. There. Okay. So this from Music Tech, a timeline of Martin Shkreli and the Lost Wu-Tang Clan album, Once Upon a Time in Shaolin. And if you're not familiar with who Martin Shkreli is, this guy, right? The guy on the left here. He was the guy in the mid 2010s, like 2016 or something, and he basically bought the company that makes the pill for HIV and AIDS, right? And cranked the price up like 20,000% or something. It was something ridiculous. And like the pill used to be like $10, and then he made it $750, like overnight. And they got a lot of backlash. I think it just is a testament to his character in general. But I didn't know he was the holder of the whatchamacallit, of the Wu-Tang album where they only made 1 CD of it. It says here, Shkreli has been ordered to turn over any copies he has of the album, which he forfeited after being convicted of fraud in 2017. More testament to his character there. It says, Pharma Bro Martin Shkreli made headlines this week as he was ordered by a judge to return copies he made of Wu-Tang Clan's ultra-rare Once Upon a Time in Shaolin album. Life Surgic says, what a loser. Yeah, super loser. Shkreli has long been a controversial figure after Turing Pharmaceuticals, the company he was the CEO of at the time, bought the manufacturing license of the antiparasitic drug Daraprim in 2015, and it raised prices from $1,350 to $750 per pill. So this is the kind of guy we're dealing with here. It says, the same year, Shkreli purchased Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, a somewhat mythical 31-track hip-hop album, of which only 1 copy existed at the time. In 2017, Shkreli was found guilty of 2 counts of securities fraud and 1 count of conspiracy to commit securities fraud, sentenced to 7 years in prison in 2018. Ooh, so if he's not out, he's almost out. And later forced to forfeit his assets. One of them was Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, which was auctioned by the U.S. government to NFT collective Pleaser DAO for $4 million. 1 album, $4 million. And they say CD sales are dead. But after he live streamed the album on X earlier this year, Shkreli revealed himself to still be in possession of copies of the album. A breach of his forfeiture order, Shkreli has been ordered to hand over any copies of the album he owns by the end of this week, which this was written... When was this written? 3 days ago. Oh, so that was probably last week? I don't know. Maybe it's the end of this week. Lysergic says, bro is probably making copies and charging people hundreds. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I feel like hundreds of dollars to him is probably not much. Seeing as he just streamed it on X. It's still weird calling it X, but, I'm not used to it. I still say Twitter. Below, we chart a timeline of Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, and how it got into and out of Shkreli's hands. Okay. Once Upon a Time in Shaolin recorded from 2007 to 2013. The 7th studio album by Wu-Tang Clan, Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, was recorded in secret over a period of 6 years between 2007 and 2013. The only 1 2-CD copy was pressed in 2014, which was then stored in a secure vault at the Royal Mansour Hotel in Casablanca, Morocco, until its sale a year later. Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, purchased by Martin Shkreli for $2 million in 2015. After a year in storage, the Royal Mansour Hotel, the album was sold via online auction house Paddle 8 in 2015 to winning bidder Martin Shkreli, who reportedly paid $2 million. The album was sold to Shkreli with a legal agreement stipulating that it couldn't be commercially exploited, sold, or distributed until 2103. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so cool. Look at this dude. Look at this guy. Do you want to punch him, knowing what he did? Knowing what he did, not only with the Wu-Tang album, but with the AIDS medication too, right? Like it just, they call him Pharma Bro. Like I don't want to even see his face because I'll punch it. Just kidding. I don't condone violence, but very punchable face here, right? Shkreli was originally arrested by the FBI in 2015 on securities fraud charges. They were related to his tenure at MSMB Capital Management, an asset management company that he co-founded. And alleged he ran his company like a Ponzi scheme. He was found guilty of 2 counts of securities fraud and 1 count of conspiracy to blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, we read that. Shkreli forced to forfeit assets in 2018. Following his conviction, Martin Shkreli was forced to forfeit nearly $7.4 million in assets, including Once Upon a Time in Shaolin album, along with other high-profile art pieces, like a piece by Pablo Picasso and Lil Wayne's then unreleased album, The Carter 5. Once Upon a Time in Shaolin sold by U.S. government to NFT collectors, Pleaser DAO. And the fact that this is an NFT, I think, is super cool. I'm really into crypto and all that stuff, and seeing NFTs kind of slowly bleed into the music industry with use cases like this is really good, especially with something as high profile as as Wu-Tang Clan. After Martin Shkreli was forced to forfeit Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, the album was sold by the U.S. government to NFT collectors Pleaser DAO, who said they wanted to make the album more publicly accessible for $4 million. Which, all right, went up in price a bit. Martin Shkreli revealed to have made copies of the album before it was sold. We figured this out in 2024. On June 9, 2024, Martin Shkreli live streamed the album to an audience of around 5,000 on X. The album's owner, Pleaser DAO, then sued him for playing it publicly without permission, saying the album's value had been diminished. A judge issued a temporary restraining order preventing Shkreli from playing the album publicly, which he shouldn't have been able to do in the first place. Obviously, this meant that Shkreli had to have made copies of the album before it changed from his hands to Pleaser DAO's. Now a judge has ordered Shkreli to turn over all copies of the album he had in possession by the end of the week. Other Once Upon a Time Shaolin news. The first exhibition officially offering listeners the ability to hear the album began in June at the Museum of Old and New Art in Hobart, Tasmania. Attendees were played a 30-minute mix of the album and were made to sign a waiver promising not to record the album. The same month, Pleaser DAO began selling partial ownership of the album via NFT for $1 each. Each purchase accelerated its release by 88 seconds. That's pretty tight. That's actually really cool. So anytime someone spends $1 to have partial ownership of the album, it gets bumped up 88 seconds. It's going to take a lot of dollars to get that to release anytime soon. Yeah, so, I mean, really, screw this guy, right? Ruining a good thing, just like he did with the AIDS medication. It's just really annoying that people like this spoil the hard work of people like Wu-Tang Clan, you know, and just completely devalued the rarity or the exclusivity of a album that only had one pressing, that it's being stored in like vaults in museums, and this dude just like burned a copy. Like, more, I don't know, maybe he didn't burn a copy. Like, who has a disc reader anymore, right? Um, but yeah, screw this guy, man. Really just kind of ruining the exclusivity of that album, and making it impossible to. He's basically extracting value from anything he touches. That's what I'm getting from this. It's like anything that has value, he's going to take for himself or ruin it for somebody else. Probably because he's just pissy about getting caught being a fraud, you know. So Martin Shkreli, not welcome in my house or or the industry at all. This last article was pretty short. I'm just gonna read through it. It's pretty cool. Bummer that the stream cut out halfway through is what it is. But I will just be sure to be on the hardware. I think it was because I was on my Wi-Fi and I forgot to turn my Wi-Fi off, and I wasn't utilizing the Ethernet. Whatever. This is episode 6. That's nothing crazy. But we're still gonna be doing this every Monday. Studio stream tomorrow night. I don't know what I'm going to do for the studio stream yet, but I'm going to be working on something. I've got a lot to catch up on, a lot of collabs I'm working on at the moment. So it could be one of those. It could just be some sound design stuff. Yes, he's not welcome in my house. Screw that guy. Let's see. Okay, so this one here, let me zoom out a bit. We can see the title. Get a drink here. Throat's a little dry. Shout out Celsius. It says here, Instagram reported to be working with Spotify on continuous music sharing feature. I'm not really sure what that means. I mean, do we find music on Instagram? I find new artists on Instagram, but I don't know. It just doesn't. It seems like it could be a 50-50 platform on new music discovery. But let's read this here. Instagram and Spotify appear to be working on a new feature that would let Instagram users continuously share what songs they're listening to via the app's notes section. Let's see. Yeah, Celsius, hit him with the sponsorship. Perfect angle. Oh, did I get the... Oops. Yeah, that'd be dope to be sponsored by Celsius. Somebody hit them up. So yeah, this seems like if you use Discord or if you have Discord, I think there's a thing in there where you can share, you can like see what people are listening to. I'm pretty sure it's on Discord that it does that, where it's like listening to whatever on Spotify. And then Spotify, you can actually see what your friends are listening to, which is kind of creepy, but whatever. Though not yet official or confirmed for a launch, the potential features has been leaked by the app's researcher and reverse engineer Alessandro Paluzzi on Threads. If true, looks like we're heading ever closer back to the days of MySpace, where music was more widely shared on online profiles. Paluzzi's Threads shows a post of a screenshot with a new option that would allow users to continuously share their music from Spotify instead of selecting a song from Instagram's catalog, though it states you can stop sharing at any time. Instagram already launched... Cyrannic says, always on auto mode because you know I'm on... but you won't know if I'm there or not. Yeah, you just stay on auto mode and just keep people guessing. Instagram already launched the ability to share 30-second song clips over a year ago via Notes. The Notes feature itself arrived in December of 2022, and it began allowing users to share small status updates via thought bubbles. These displays above a user's profile picture on their profile page and via direct messaging feature. So now it's getting into other Spotify news. Lysergic says won't be as good as MySpace. Yeah, that was a you don't know what some like how great something is, or how much something defines a generation until it's like gone, until it's passed, and then you're like, oh, that was actually really sick compared to like what I'm looking at these days. He says the good old days, yeah. Um, Sirenic says Tom gave us everything and even encouraged us to learn coding to express ourselves. Yeah, yeah. Lysergic says that was my first friend, Tom. Um, yeah, no, that's like MySpace was like, I don't know. I caught like, I don't want to say the tail end because I had a MySpace for probably 4 years maybe. And having your like top friends, right? And the drama at school would be like, did you see that Stacy removed Becca from her top friends? What's going on with them? What happened? And being able to pick your top songs. I think what was y'all's song picks for MySpace? Mine was at the time it was down with the well, it was a Disturbed song. I don't know if it was Down with the Sickness. I think it was. I don't know if it was out by then. Um, yeah, it was like Slipknot, Metallica, Disturbed. Just a snapshot of where I was at in my musical journey there. Um, MCR, I'm not okay. Okay, word. He says some emo shit. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to remember. I think Riding Dirty by Chameleonaire. I was like obsessed with that song for like 6 months. Um, oh, man, I'm trying to remember this stuff. I was really into. I was playing guitar a lot. I was in bands with my friends. So it was probably stuff like that and the occasional. Oh, Fireman by Lil. Was it Birdman and Lil Wayne? Fireman, fireman. Okay, we popping champagne like we won the championship game. Yeah, dude, bangers, bangers, bangers only. Um, he says Slipknot, Wait and Bleed, Breaking Benjamin, Diary of Jane. Yeah, yeah, that's probably the direction my stuff was in at the time. Maybe not Breaking Benjamin. Um, I was like really into like 80s metal, like Slayer, Metallica, Motorhead, like the real almost speed metal stuff from 80s, early 90s. Rage Against the Machine is like not in that era, in that genre, but I was like really, they were just super aggressive. Um, but yeah, so that's probably gonna wrap it up for today. I appreciate, even though the stream cut short, is what it is. Um, you know, uh, I appreciate everyone tuning in, continuing. Please continue to watch the videos and stuff. It really helps me out. I'm gonna do one more shameless plug here, but we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify. Be sure to check out the new remix I did with or for Flex Pavilion of where and Comrank of Where You At. Follow me on Spotify. Got some exclusive little remixes on there. I did a remix of let me switch over here. Yeah, I did a remix of Devil Is a Lie by Tommy Richmond. I think I'm just gonna put it out. I have some music actually dropping, on a record label here in over the next few months. So I just got to find a space in between all that to put it out before the song kind of like dies in popularity. But it's really cool. There's actually a stream of me working on it a few weeks ago, and I finally just wrapped it up. But yeah, no, I appreciate everyone tuning in. We are doing the what's it called? The studio stream tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So, want to come in, talk creative talks and ask questions, production, whatever. We're going to be streaming the studio stuff. I still don't know what I'm going to be working on. I was thinking I might have it figured out by the end of this stream, but I don't, which is fine. We're just going to roll with it and see what happens. But I appreciate everyone tuning in, and I will catch y'all next time.